Hare Krishna. We continue with our program for the Holy Retreat. So, topic being the mood for chanting, right? Japa, the mood for japa, the mood in chanting. So before we begin again, humbly pray for your blessings. If we can uh, try to understand somewhat Mahaprabhu's mood, Mahaprabhu's mission, Mahaprabhu's desire, and somehow or other by the blessings of Vaishnavas, if I can line in myself against those desires, against that desire of Mahaprabhu. So the mood in chanting, maybe I would like to start with this question, say, what makes it 100% in life? Or what makes it like complete or full or 100 in life? What quality, what emotion, what trait, what personality, what item, to name a few, say? Is it discipline that makes it 100 complete, full all the way through, say? Is it, could it be consistency? Could it be honesty? Anything? What what do you think could make it like, or makes it 100% or full, or 100 in complete, say, in life? Satisfaction makes it 100 full, complete in life. Yeah, very good. Yeah, satisfaction is very ideal. Satisfaction is required. And whatever we try to discuss, see, Krishna consciousness is so broad, it easily uh, covers, it easily uncovers, encompasses material life altogether. So, yeah, satisfaction is that one is there, okay. Anything else? In Updeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction, in the preface of Nectar of Instruction by Srila Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada writes in the commentary, in the preface, Prabhupada writes that advancement in Krishna consciousness, very, very, very beautiful writing, very beautiful writing. I'm sure all of us know this. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So, be it discipline, be it self control, be it satisfaction, attitude. Yeah. Advancement in Krishna consciousness, advancement in life general, depends on the attitude of the follower. And see, by this, it straight away kind of the message is, what is my attitude in the practice of Krishna consciousness? And it doesn't give me any leverage to poke into someone else's attitude or say, oh no, Mataji or Prabhuji, this is how it should be. So it's like a very kind of, it's a very personal, it has to be taken like that. So the attitude in japa, the attitude in chanting, the mood. And also if you see how attitude makes it 100, shall I tell you how attitude makes it 100? And we have a scientist also, by the way, in amongst us, Nivedita, very qualified and very nice devotee of Krishna. And Nivedita can correct me also. Attitude, what's the spelling of attitude, Nivedita? Come on. Attitude, right? Now, I mean, uh, in worldwide we see through mathematics and general quantification things and all. So if I place A as 1, in that alphabetical order, 26 English characters, say alphabets A to Z, A being 1, Z being 26. Now T comes at 20. A comes at 1. Oh, Ayush is another. Yeah, he can also point me. So where does U stand, or U come Ayush then? If I stack them up, 21 right after T, yeah. So 21, U, and D comes 4, E comes 6, right? E comes 5, and I think Nivedita is doing the maths. So if we sum it up, what does it come, Nivedita, then? If we sum it up, all these characters, A, T, T, I is for 9, T, 20, U, 21, D, E, complete 100. Complete 100. So it is the attitude in life. Doesn't matter again if I'm studying or working or wherever I am, professional life, material life, family life, business life, idle life, whichever life. uh, It is the attitude what makes it 100. And this is what japa. We'll try to see the mood or the attitude in our japa, the attitude in the practice of Krishna consciousness. So, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the practitioner, on the attitude of the performer. So, it has to be all taken introspective. And what is Krishna consciousness? Essentially, Krishna consciousness is like pure love for Krishna, right? And love in its pure form is pure only. Love in its pure form is completely pure, but because we live in a conditioned state, so we have to, okay, pure love and this. But anyway, so Krishna consciousness practice is what pure love for Krishna or love for Krishna. Tell you something, and your advanced practicing devotees, you can confirm even more. Love is such an emotion. Love is such an emotion, a feeling and expression. Love is the most sought after emotion, most spoken emotion in the world, and yet the least understood, or the most misunderstood. Now, see, 31st December, isn't it? Such a craze worldwide, such a big festival. Yeah. By Krishna consciousness of a festival, we understand for the pleasure of the lordships and deities, but still, okay, 31st December, such a big festival. And just see how many tonight, today, na? This love, I love you. So much. So, love is the, we'll try to understand, like, love is the most sought after emotion. Love is the most, say, the expression, the love is the most cherished possession same, and yet it is the most misunderstood or hardly understood as such, least understood. But we try to understand this love for japa, attitude in chanting. Shila Shripad Sanatan Goswami in Bhagavad Mrita. If someone has not read Brihad Bhagavad Mrita, must read Brihad Bhagavad Mrita. Wherein he writes, and also on his different commentaries, love is synonymous to love is humility, dinta. Ah, parallel, love and humility, synonymous to love. And another question, what is the protection for love? What protects love? What is the safeguarding of love? How is one's love safeguarded? Yes, maybe this is a bit of a better question to ask. How is one's love, expression of love, safeguarded, protected? By giving more, by understanding, by caring. See, by giving more, we are, yeah, we are expanding perhaps the love. Protecting may not be, yeah, not may not be securing much. We are giving more love, same. By expanding also same, by caring also fine, we are more giving out. Can I say the safeguarding or the protection of love is through humility. Through humility I protect love. To give an example, what is the protection of our for our eyes? Eyelids. Eyelids. And see, I mean, self protection or protection is the first law of nature, or right, self preservation. And any child or elderly person, eyelids are the protection for eye. Likewise, eye, we know we use this as a vision to see. So, in order for me as well, if I have to, aspiring bhakta, aspiring devotee, practicing Krishna consciousness, we desire, we aim to attain the association of the Lordships. So, if I want the divine darshan of the Lordships and the um, engagement in the eternal pastimes, if I want that vision, it has to be protected. It has to be very much safeguarded and protected through humility. Just like eyelids protect the eye, love is protected through one's humility. And they are synonymous. Where there is love, there has to be humility. Without humility, there is no love as such. But irony is, in this world, before protecting humility, I must first try to understand what humility means. Uh, Real irony, actually. Because how the society works is there's so much of education, but again, where is that school where love is being taught? Hmm? Where genuine friendship is being taught, where trust is being taught, and where humility is being taught? Where is that school? So this is that school of bhakti, say the platform. It's a natural emotion wherein we can um, bring out that love, dormant love for Krishna. And in order for us to be able to bring out that dormant love for Krishna, we need to understand humility, appreciate, possess own humility, and protect, safeguard that humility. Yeah. Yeah, Mahaprabhu would like his devotees to be humble, be completely humble. Any thoughts? What is humility? What does humility mean? I don't think so in society at large, if humility is discussed, if humility is spoken about. What does humility mean? What is humility? Say again? Equal? Oh, dissolution. Okay. Ego dissolution or ego annihilation, sort of. We'll see. Yes, babe.
Satchinandan Swami says that being humble is to be real.
Very nice. Being humble to be is to be real. Very nice. He's dissolving your ego, by the way. Huh? Yeah, be kind to, in general, to everyone. Very nice. Humble. Any other thoughts? What is humility? Very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah. How was Arjuna humble? Was Arjuna humble? Arjuna is an eternal associate of Krishna, right? A pure devotee of Krishna. We know Arjuna is humble. How? He killed millions in the war to the will of the Lord. Krishna desired that this war happen. Krishna desired. Arjuna understood Krishna's desire. Arjuna was not willing to act on Krishna's desire, but he was humble enough, in spite of his personal ego. Say, in spite of his personal ego, he came out of his comfort zone. Yes, karishye vachanam tava. This is what Krishna, I have understood your heart, your desire, what you want from me, and I will act. I will do to please you. So Arjuna came to reality, Arjuna became more real. And he did not have to actually annihilate his ego or dissolve his ego. He came to his real ego, the ego of the soul proper, which we understand is to love Krishna and serve Krishna. A devotee once told me, I loved it when I heard it. A devotee once told me, what is humility? See this. Humility is not to think less of oneself. Humility is not to think less of oneself, but to think less of oneself. Humility is not to think less of oneself, as in, like, I'm more fallen or I'm more, oh, I'm good for nothing. It's not like that. To think less of oneself, but to think of oneself less, not go more into self obsession. Arjuna was more into, like, should I do this, should I not do this, and all. But he understood what is the will of Krishna, what is the heart of Krishna, what is the desire of Krishna, and this is what love. To understand the heart, the desire, the will of my beloved. What does he or she want, and act accordingly. That is humility. So Arjuna acted with pure humility. And this is what we want in japa, genuine, real humility to come about. Real humility, attitude in chanting japa. Love and humility are synonymous. Without humility, we cannot understand the platform of love. We can never understand the platform of love. And humility again is to be protected. Humility is to be protected. But again, before protecting humility, maybe I try to understand what does humility mean. Humility doesn't really necessarily mean that I stand last in the queue in prasadam. I'm so humble, I stand last in the queue in prasadam. Huh? It doesn't need not necessarily mean that I live like a very like saying low, so I walk low as in with my bent back and all. No, humility doesn't necessarily mean that. Arjuna didn't he was so humble that in the fight, he was kicking Krishna in the fight. He was kicking Krishna, take me right, take me left. That's humility. Was working under the order, the directions, the instructions of Krishna to please Krishna. For me as a sadhaka, what would be my humility? To practice Krishna consciousness in the line of disciplic succession in Guru Parampara, not deviating from Guru Parampara. That is humility, that is loyalty. I do not need to manufacture anything. I do not need to invent anything new. Everything is there. It's a revelation in the heart. Japa is so deep. It's a revelation in the heart, pure. And we do not know how sacred japa is. Yeah. Japa is a madhurya rasa vritti, na? Prem ras, all together. So we do not have access, we do not know. I do not have access, I do not know. But first, let me try to explore a bit humility and understand that some things in love, without remorse, there's not love as such. There has to be remorse in love. So, without remorse, there's no love. Without, say, humility, there's not that love. Mahaprabhu's teachings is what? Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtanya sadahari. Kirtanya sadahari. Kirtan means what? Glorification. So, through our whatever we do, in the divine couple, they should be glorified. Guru Gaurang should be glorified. Kirtanya Sadahari. So always chanting. Now, many times we hear, right? Like a sadhaka, he should contemplate how to leave the body, right? How to leave the body. Now, sometimes we hear, right? I want to die in Vrindavan. That should be contemplated very much. It should be like very deeply contemplated. So I want to die in Vrindavan actually. Is it a healthy thought? What do you think? Or No one dies in the consciousness of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is an eternal realm. Hmm? I want to die in Vrindavan. I want to live in Vrindavan. Yeah. For a sadhaka, when he does japa, he's already dead. He should like this is what japa should be. The attitude in japa. Materially dead. Materially dead. Yeah. Uh, Jivan mukta se uchyate. Rupa Goswami's teachings, na? जीवन मुक्त इह यस्य हरेर्दास्य कर्मणा मनसा गिरा निखिलाश्व अपि अवस्थासु जीवन मुक्त से उच्यते. So even this living in this material body, but through attitude in japa, through mood in chanting, we need not be attached with this body and attached with the material thought process and everything. And the craving should be, I want to live in Vrindavan. I don't want to die chanting the holy name. Yeah, I want to die, say, give up this body chanting the holy name. I want to live chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Holy name is forever, eternal. Love for Krishna is eternal. And this should be our realization. Every moment, Radha Krishna should be glorified, Guru Gaurang should be glorified. I want to live in Vrindavan. I want to live chanting the holy names. Kirtanya Sada Hari. See, Mahaprabhu's teachings, when we see na, our like completely, it should bring a revolution in our consciousness. The Goswamis, the teachings of the Goswamis and Mahaprabhu's teachings, see, in worldly society also we see, right? Yeah. If I do not get you a boy to a girl, say generally speaking, if I do not get you, if I do not get this girl, I will cut my wrist, right? And I will lose my life. I will die. I will do this. I will break the house, break the car, something. Huh? And especially like, okay, if she's getting married, the day she gets married, the day is I will leave this world. Huh? Mm, so the day like she's getting married and that same day kind of I will leave this world. So like and people also wow such great love that Shahjahan many say right such great love like in the love for his wife he chopped the hands of all those who built the Taj Mahal and all. So wow for love in love he cut his wrist and all. But see the in the mood of Brajvasis, the mood of Brajvasis in pure love for Krishna, they waited for Krishna. Krishna promised he will return, and they waited. And they not just waited impatiently, they waited and they went everything very nicely. So that Krishna returns, we want to give him a sweet smile face. Hmm? Because we don't want Krishna to be upset. So that is humility. That 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 intense desire longing to attain Krishna and patiently waiting not getting impatient, that is humility. See we see right Maharaj Dashrath in Ramayana. Maharaj Dashrath, we knew Lord Ram was in Banwas exile for 14 years, for 12 years or 14 years Banwas, exile. And Maharaj Dashrath in his love he couldn't, he passed away, he gave up his body, he could not wait. He gave us, but the gopis no, the Brajvasis no, because Krishna had promised. Maharaj Dashrath, yeah, he knew 12 years or 14 years, I don't remember now, correct me. But Ram would be returning. Hmm? And gopis also, the Brajvasis, Krishna had promised, I would return. And they stayed humble with that promise for the pleasure of Krishna. So japa is, it's not like for my own pleasure. When we go further deep, and again, we have kindly His Grace Adokshaja Krishna Prabhu. I'm sure his Japa Sangha and revelations and realizations in Japa, he will make us humble. So that is the attitude or the mood should be in Japa to I want to chant forever, I want to live forever, I want to live in Vrindavan, I want to continue to chant the Mahamantra. And lots more in the Mahamantra, lots more. Adokshaya Prabhu can reveal further more and more. Um, Again, a question, see, speaking humility and remorse and the attitude in Japa. Hmm. Now, uh, who is more unfortunate, or if I may say, who is more fallen? Huh? Who is more low, who is more unfortunate? One who is in the association of devotees practicing Krishna consciousness, doing japa, following regulative principles, huh? But not developed attachment for the holy name, not developed an interest or ruchi or attachment in the japa, in the holy name, for devotees say, or for Radha Krishna say, huh? And someone else who possibly in the streets in Lesmego, possibly in the streets in Glasgow or Edinburgh, and might as well be out of his ignorance into meditating, not following the regulations and all, and not into practicing Krishna consciousness. So, who is more unfortunate or who is more fallen? One who is practicing Krishna consciousness, following regulations and chanting the holy names, but not developed a taste in the holy name. And another who is out of his ignorance, whatever we may define as sin, in all sorts of activities, and not doing japa. Say, who is more? I am more fallen. This is what I should. This should be the realization. And again, all this is not to intellectually gratify anything or to philosophize and bring out some point. This is to genuinely cry out to Mahaprabhu. This is to genuinely pray to Mahaprabhu, to cry out to Mahaprabhu. This is to experience. Look at the irony. Look at the tragedy. Having been blessed in such good devotee association, Ratina Janmila Tenakaya, Hari Hari Vifale Janama Guvaino. And how easily can I tell my partner, say some husband can tell his wife, or some wife can tell her husband, or parents can tell their children, and children can tell their parents, or my next door neighbor, or the postman, or the bus driver. How easily, oh, such a unfortunate poor soul. Look, he's all into sins and this and that. How easily can I quickly, or this, oh, he's lost his, he lost it. He lost. And have I made it all? Have I kind of done the 100 thing or the circle? Or so this is more for japa. If I really want to understand the mood of japa and the potency and the beauty of the holy name, then the sooner I realize how unfortunate am I. See, the Krishna consciousness is all paradox. All paradox. The sooner I realize how unfortunate am I, the more my fortune will come about. And if I cannot say this to anyone in Glasgow or Lesmego or India or anywhere, look, you come into this job, you come into this practice, you come into this study, and the sooner you realize how bankrupt you are, you will be very good. People will say, no, Baba, you carry on. Chanting is what? Chanting is begging in desperation. That should be the mood, mood for chanting. Chanting is begging in desperation, crying in desperation. And this is what mood we want to attain. If not now, then when? त्रिनादपि सुनिचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेना कीर्तनिया सदा हरि. Huh? One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street and devoid of all sense of false prestige. One should not expect any honor or respect for oneself and should be ready to give all respects unto others. Now, in this, uh, essentially there are four items in this Trinadapi Sunichena. Four items, what is expected or what Mahaprabhu is expressing or saying. Could anyone tell one of those four items? Yes. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Yes. Prepare you going to say something? So one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect unto others. So, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. Then, more tolerant than a tree. Uh, Third, say, devoid of all sense of false prestige. And fourth, giving all respect to others. For someone who has not found his resolve in Krishna consciousness, may find this teaching of Mahaprabhu to be very impractical. One may find it very impractical. But someone who has been blessed by devotee association, by devotee, by blessed by Mahaprabhu, say, the most practical teaching in here, the most practical message in here to attain the love of Godhead. Practicing Krishna consciousness, we should be clear we are after attaining Krishna, the love of Godhead, after attaining Godhead. For a sadhaka, a practicing sadhaka, this is the most practical message, the practical teaching. Check it out for a worldly person or for someone who has not yet found his groove, his resolve, his shelter, his feet, say, in Krishna consciousness. For him or her, it could be the most impractical. Lower than a straw in the street, what do you mean? Uh, Devoid of all sense of false prestige? After all, I'm a human being. Huh. I think British people like putting some opinion, or everyone in general. After all, I'm an Indian. After all, I'm this and all. Huh. So, someone may find it very difficult to appreciate or may find it not so practical. But for a sadhaka, through good association, this is the most practical message of Mahaprabhu. Now, Mahaprabhu is saying what? Think oneself lower than a straw in the street, not equal, even lower. And by this lower than a straw in the street doesn't mean that again we walk with our back bent or we stand last in the queue in prasadam or we stand last in the temple room when aarti is being coming to us. No, no, Prabhu, first to everyone, then I. No, no. Again, Arjuna, we need to see humility from Arjuna, from Prahlad Maharaj. How humble was he? He spoke to his father, huh? King of the demons. So he spoke to his father the message of Krishna consciousness. We need to understand what is that humility. So lower than a straw in the street, through attitude in chanting japa, one can realize, look, Mahaprabhu, a straw, how valuable it is. A straw. What is the value of a straw? Well, at least or even more, a straw can be used to build a cow shed. eh? Cow shed. And that cow will get protection shed. And the cow will then give good milk or it will facilitate the cow to give good milk. That milk would be offered to Krishna. Value of a straw helping out in milk being offered to Krishna. A straw, value of a straw to build a hut where A sadhu, a saintly person can do bhajan, can do japa, can do chanting and call out to Krishna. Or straw in general could be used, no, for many things. And so a straw finds its value, its usage. But without humility, how could possibly Mahaprabhu use me? How could possibly the Acharyas, Vaishnavas, Guru Maharaj use me? What is the value? Lower than a straw in the street if humility is not understood or attained. Or if that crying, that begging, desperation in japa doesn't come out. So this should be Mahaprabhu. I am so fallen. Straw is much, much better. Straw is much, much better. Straw finds its usage in cowshed, in hut, in general usage for all sorts of well-being. What am I doing? And this has to be, one has to again realize this. This is not like a theoretical class sort of Krishna consciousness that, okay, as we go in school, college, uni, and get to know of it. No. Lower than a straw in the street. One has to find its lowest point, complete like same, and more tolerant than a tree. We understand tree so tolerant, stays in harsh weather, harsh conditions, bears everything, and gives fruit still in harsh conditions, extreme conditions, heat or extreme cold, still stands there, gives shelter, gives fruit, hmm, without complaining, without objecting. And even if cut down, the wood is also put to use and everything. So much value. And where am I in the value of Mahaprabhu? So, if I really wish to attract the mercy of Mahaprabhu, Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sadahari. Now, Man is expecting honor, expecting honor. See, Mahaprabhu is giving us this beautiful formula actually, how practical this is. The four things: lower than a straw in the street, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of sense of false prestige, and ready to give respect to others. Now, okay, if in this four, what do you think is the most difficult one? Again, it's like it could be a bit subjective, but what do you think is the most difficult one? Lower than a straw in the street, thinking oneself to be lower than a straw, being more tolerant than a tree, or devoid of all sense of. All are difficult, but which more tolerant than a, okay, being, okay, devoid of false ego, and it could be a bit subjective, and or see if it is giving respect to others. And what is that one thing if I focus on, then all four could be covered? Yeah, humility is what we want to attain. In this, Mahaprabhu is like telling us, right? These, like, say, being more tolerant than a tree, lower than a straw in the street, and devoid of sense of false prestige, and giving all respect to others. New Year's Eve, right? And kindly someone tell me today or tomorrow what is so new about the new year, would be very, very helpful. But New Year's Eve, New Year resolution, this is personally, if I can imbibe this resolution to give all respect to others, to give respect to others. Somehow or other, if I can keep that, and others not just in the devotee community, in family members, in work circle, and strangers or whosoever. If I can work, see, this is one thing where I can be more proactive. Tolerant is something, okay, coming upon me and I have to tolerate. Yeah. Lower than a straw in the street, okay, and devoid of all sense of false prestige. Some, but this giving respect to others, this is something I can, yes, okay, let me take this. Yes, let me take this as a resolution. uh, Giving respect to others, giving respect to others. And may not be to everyone to begin with, but at least to my spouse, to my partner, to my children, to my parents, at least to my near and dear ones, at least to the community members to begin with, and then I can pass it on. I can furthermore. And so less pressure Mahaprabhu is putting on us. Imagine, like, see what would have been. Mahaprabhu is saying, be ready to give respect to others. Had Mahaprabhu said, be ready to love others, love everyone, beyond our capacity. We cannot love everyone beyond our capacity. That is Krishna's capacity, Krishna's role. To love everyone unconditionally, he does. But at least I might try to be respectful. No one should become the object of my envy. No one should become the object of my hatred, of my disliking. Can I do this much? At least my mother should not become the object of my hatred, my father, my spouse, my children, my family, my locality, community, something. Can I then expand? So, no one should become the object of my hatred, my envy, my anger, say. "Ah, how can I be?" This is something maybe personally if I can own. And we can see how it helps in the advancement in Krishna consciousness in Japan. Okay, and this note, maybe I'll take a pause. Any questions, comments, or clarifications, please? Yes, Pip.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you. We were hearing from Dr. Krishna Prabhu this morning. How Prabhupada is saying that, like, what is there to think about when chanting? We're chanting. The chanting is the thinking. So when we're discussing this imbibing the mood, how can we like actually imbibe it as a mood and not just have it on the mental sort of platform? You know, I'm just thinking about this.
How can chanting become the thinking is the question, right? Chanting is the thinking, and how can chanting become the thinking? So essentially, how can chanting be not a mechanical process? How can chanting be? Chanting is pure love. It's a love. It's an expression. It's a call. Yeah. Various things. Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. The Shishtastkam prayers, we should learn them. We should definitely learn all the 8 verses only in Shishtastkam, and then I should cry out to Mahaprabhu. And also, there are many deep, deep meanings of japa. Japa is what, like, Mahaprabhu is in many ways experiencing pain also in japa. So, if I do japa nicely, let me share that pain of Mahaprabhu. Acharyas are experiencing pain in japa, separation. Or if I do japa attentively, if I make japa the chanting, the thinking itself, I share that pain. I would want to share that pain. I would want to facilitate. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is what meeting, say, of Radha Krishna. I would want to facilitate. So that should then chanting becomes the thinking, or chanting is the thinking, and it should not be like a mental. And for it to not be a mental process, mental imagination, speculation, or laborious thing, prayer is the way out. Crying is the way out. Begging is the way out. There's no academic oriented formula. There's no mechanical academic oriented formula. Things are there that there's no rules, regulations, and all. chant in the morning time, and is beneficial with devotees and all. But then ultimately one has to go deep in one's heart. And one way is that would come about chanting would become the, say, not just the thinking on the mental platform. Chanting would be the chanting when we chant more, when we chant more also. But the mood has to be come about only when we associate with devotees. Through associating with elevated Vaishnavas, we try to pray for that mood to be coming upon us. And this is what the mood Mahaprabhu is wanting to give us, the Acharyas are wanting to give us, Vaishnavas are wanting to give us. But if I just develop that attitude, yeah, that humility, understanding humility, protecting one's humility, then chanting would be the chanting. And chanting would never then be like a laborious task or so many things otherwise around chanting. But if I pray more to understand the, for us, kind of it is a secret, no? But for um, acharyas and all, or the japa itself, it's not like a puzzle for them. For me, it's like more like a puzzle because I am complicated. But japa is very sweet, it is very simple. Does that somewhat answer your question, Pen? Sure.
Very important point, the giving respect to everyone. How, I mean, in a practical sense, let's say, in a practical sense, when, especially with our ego and conditioning, when we don't receive that respect, how do we how do we always keep giving? That's, should
Uh,
we just say we are humble and whatever it is, we just continue giving respect, or at some point, we
Very practical question, yeah. I like it personally speaking when someone asks a question or says something in a practical sense. Wow, I just love it. When people like, okay, how Krishna consciousness is the most practical actually, the process. Application is a different thing because again, I am complicated. But the process is so practical, it is. Yeah. So the question being like that, how can I practically give offer my respect to someone when I know that someone is misusing my trust, say perhaps, on those lines. Again, the work has to be done on myself. What is my vision in life? What is my aim in life? Am I a beggar of the holy name? Am I begging in desperation? Am I crying in desperation? I give an example. Suppose someone is diagnosed with cancer and doctor says you have got only 7 days to live. Any rational person say, we have to bring a bit, you said practical, right? I'm bringing a bit rationality now in the response. Any rational person, if he's diagnosed with cancer and doctor says you have honestly only 7 days to live, then if someone mistrusts him, would he still be kind and offering respect and tolerant or not? Say a rational person. Say, I've been diagnosed with cancer, only 7 days to live, and someone speaks a bit ill of me, insults me, or prepares a sabji too spicy, mm, something, then what should like, knowing that I've got 7 days to live. This is still a bit, say, on a material, mundane platform, but still helps me understand. So, likewise, I need to transport my consciousness into the japa proper. Then it's like such a firewall or that thing, that humility or tolerance. We would say thank you perhaps to the person. Thank you for criticizing me, or thank you for correcting me, or thank you for helping me understand. Thank you for putting me on check. I know now where to channelize my energy. I know now where to cry out, what I am after. Thank you for helping me. And respect is also a broad term. Many things, all such things are very, very broad. What does it mean to be respect and the word of false ego or false prestige? These are broad terms. Humility is such a broad term. But if I'm clear of my vision, if my aim and purpose in life, if I myself have like given myself to the lordships, then what sort of insult is there coming upon me? Everything that comes is a message, a mercy of Krishna to take me closer to Him. Now depends on the attitude of the practitioner. And Mahaprabhu is looking for that moment, for that 10-minute zone, 5-minute zone, that moment. In the shooting, how much time is there in Olympic shooting? Not much time. Okay, come 11 o'clock or whatever time you have to shoot now. So it's not like much time, no, in arrows and things, no. And just you have to aim. So that's so, and how much am I in that consciousness? So it has to be a natural. The way to come out is like by prayers, crying out. On our part, prayers is there on my part. That is there on my part, which I should never take away from me. Desire is there on my part. Taking association is there on my part, so I should never take away from that. And Mahaprabhu's mercy will flow. Does that someone? Just to end on the note, I know I'm running out of time, but won't take much time. Just to end on the note, say there are two things, ordinary and extraordinary. Again, another day we can discuss a bit further. Ordinary on extraordinary, on the mood of attitude of chanting and overall say, practice of Krishna consciousness. What does extraordinary mean? Would we want to be extraordinary in front of Mahaprabhu, in front of deities, in front of say devotees, in front of Krishna? Should I be extraordinary? Or would we want to be ordinary in front of deities, in front of Krishna, in front of devotees? Okay, I will end it here. Extraordinary, right? So just see this as an example, and if it see how it fits in. Say, many of us like we understand, right? There are pizza outlets, the outlets which sell pizza and give pizza out. So extraordinary. Okay, I will leave it here. Extraordinary means being a bit more ordinary. First of all, I be ordinary, and further a bit more ordinary to please Mahaprabhu. If I want to become extraordinary, eh, that would be my extraordinary when I find my ordinariness in front of Mahaprabhu, in front of devotees. Then I become extraordinary. And yes, we would want to become that extraordinary for Mahaprabhu to choose us. And this is Trinadapi Sunichena. This is the attitude in the practice of Krishna consciousness. So it is not like some external or to someone else. It is on me. Apologies for going over time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Jaya.